Good morning, Living Waters. We heard from Jesus yesterday in the Great Commission found in the last verses of the last chapter of the book of Matthew. And I turn us to another gospel to hear a different account. Perhaps another Easter moment with Jesus and the disciples. We'll get to that. Well, we'll get started with that now. Right at the end of the gospel, I'm in John chapter 20. It's the end of John, actually, that ends. I'll just read the ending first of John. The purpose of the book is my heading. Now Jesus did many signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written so that you may come to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that through believing you may believe in his name. So John openly admits there's other stories that I didn't write down, but the other Gospels got. Okay, so that's how we get these different accounts of Easter. Jesus showed up more than once. In fact, in this Johannine section, fancy way of saying John, we have this first section. Specifically, we're going to be looking at verses 21 through 23, where Jesus appears to the disciples. Then after that account is Jesus appearing to the disciples again when Thomas is around, the whole doubting Thomas story, okay? So just in this account, Jesus appears to them twice in the same place. Jesus said to them again, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, so I send you." When he said this, he breathed on them and said to them, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive the sins of any, they are forgiven them. And if you retain the sins of any, they are retained." This is John's version of the Great Commission, right? This is Jesus commissioning the disciples for the mission. And again, notice, peace be with you. It starts with good news. The resurrected Christ, who has died and been risen from the dead for our sake, is bringing us peace. And remember, these are disciples. They didn't do it all right. They're hiding. They're afraid of being killed because of the authorities, right? They failed when it mattered most. Peter denied. Thomas is about to not refuse to believe. This is not, it's not because they earned it, but rather because of grace. Again, our mission starts with grace. But then also, as I said yesterday, the Spirit is part of the mission with us. Well, here, Jesus literally breathes the Spirit on them. Which, why breathe? Why breathe? Oh, especially in a COVID time. The word for breath has the same root as the word for spirit. This is why there's always a connection, especially in the Old Testament, but also in the New Testament. There's a connection between spirit and wind and breath. Remember the creation, God breathes life into the people. Maybe God breathes the Spirit into the people. There's no way to translate that. When Jesus and Nicodemus are talking earlier in this book of John, Nicodemus isn't getting the whole Holy Spirit thing. Jesus is talking about the wind. He isn't getting it. It's a theme that's constant. And so, if you think about it, the Spirit is as close to us as our next breath is, right? We need air to live. We breathe life. The Spirit is with us every breath. It's kind of cool when you think about it. And so here, this mission, we are not on alone. Yes, as we talked about last week, we have community, but also we have God with us in every breath that we have, in every moment of our lives. This Holy Spirit that is an empowerer, a cultivator, an advocate, all those things that we talked about before, right? This is a tremendous gift. So I want to make clear, Matthew isn't as clear about this, but I think it's there, but it's not as clear. John makes sure that there's no ambiguity here. Jesus doesn't send us out alone. Jesus sends us out with God's very presence, with us at all times, until the end of the age, as Matthew would say. Okay. We will wrap up the week in our last coffee video in these 75 weeks together tomorrow.